Been a while, but finally doing another video. I'm gonna be doing a VOD review for the Shen. It's just gonna be me talking, not talking to him on Discord or anything like that, like I normally would. It's just gonna be going over it and then sending him the video. Um, so yeah, I am gonna still do my normal process though, of having a notepad on my other monitor. It's gonna be writing down notes, and I'll show them at the end. Okay, so the first thing, which, and I'll probably have it in the title, but this guy is not ranked. So I would assume he's gonna play, like a typical low elo player, and so there's gonna be a lot of basic issues. First thing, and I see this very often, you put your point into your queue. You don't want to do that for multiple reasons. I'm going to go and put on your vision only. And this will apply for pretty much any champion. You don't want to put a point into your ability until you know that you're going to need to use it. So let's say that your team decides they want to invade. Or there could be an opportunity to counter invade because your team's really good at that as well. With Taric, you can counter invade really well. And then you could just start your taunt, and then that would be 10 times better than having your Q in that situation. Or let's say, like, you're walking. Well, you probably stood under the turret, which is bad, and I'll get to that anyway. But just in general, it's really risky to not potentially have your E if you would need it. So always just wait until a lane actually starts to put a point into something if you're not 100% sure. So I was wrong. I thought you were going to stand under the turret. This is actually good. Standing in the bush, this is where I'd want you to be. Oops, my thing. This is where I want you to be. You are guarding the bush, and then your target is guarding the other side, so you're protecting the buff. This is good. So yeah, you definitely want your E then. Because then, like, let's say they do some kind of invade where they come through here. I mean, weird stuff can happen. And then they check here, or they could just come up here. You want to make sure that you can get it out in time. Anyway. So, speed up until lane actually starts. First thing we're going to do is look to see where the jungle started, if possible. Yeah, so we don't quite know yet. Now, when you walk in a lane like this, you have a few options. And it depends on what you intend to do in the lane. So, let's say you want to pressure for level 2. Then this play is fine. Because then you'll be there at the minions first, and you'll be able to immediately start slow pushing the wave, which can be good in some matchups. Other matchups, you may want the wave to push into you, or your jungler may be really vulnerable to being punished by the enemy jungler if they know where they started. This isn't a big issue for the level of skill that you're playing in, but it could become an issue later on. Especially if you play with something like an Amumu that can very, very be easily invaded. Especially if the enemy jungler has like a Lee Sin, Elise, something strong early. But yeah, so you going in the lane here though is fine because you're going against an Aurelia, and you do want to pressure her early on the wave. The reason you want to do that is because Aurelia is passive. So as she builds up her stacks off of the wave, she gets a lot harder to fight, and so you want to try to pressure her off the minions, and then eventually, obviously, she'll be able to pick up the stacks, and you have to back off. But you want to be able to zone her off as much as you can early. And this is really good if the Aurelia has to leash, but she didn't. Speaking of which, since Aurelia's here, and the enemy bot lane has not shown up, it's very, very likely that the Evelyn started red side because she had to get a leash, and I'll go ahead and check. Yep. She got a leash from the bot laners, and they'll show up a little bit later. So you can know that since Evelyn is bot side, you can be expecting her to be pathing to top and not away from you. Which is good to know in a few ways. So once we're at this point, as I said, we're trying to pressure the Aurelio. Hitting the minions is fine. This is good. You want to kill this minion as quickly as possible, and then you want to, trade autos with her to try to keep her off the minions. However, an immediate issue that I see is that you're not using your Q, like, at all. You're just kind of chilling. Your sword, even before Aurelia showed up, should have already been next to you, or at least like in a bush or something, so that you can actually work with it. But you're not using your Q, which makes it to where you can't use your passive, and it's much harder to trade with Aurelia in general. It's the core part of Shen. Because now you have the Q, which is great, and you got the shield. That trade was really good, but you could have been using it earlier to actually pressure her. But now she's already built up some of her stacks. She's trading very, very poorly. You're able to just get free autos. This is good. Okay. You could have autoed and, or not autoed. You could have flashed autoed and killed her, but I'm not that worried about it. Here you just want to play back. I don't like this. It may actually work, because that really is bad. But here's the problem. Let's say you miss this taunt. You're going to be inside her entire minion wave, and you're going to be chunked really hard, while she has Corrupting Potion. I don't know. Yeah, okay, she still has one more. So she's going to be able to sustain back, and it's not going to be a good trade for you at all, because you have very little sustain as Shen. All you have is the healing from your grasp. You've already burned your health potion. But fortunately, the taunt does land. Did you actually... I think you did get the Q to go through. I think so, yeah. It looked like it's empowered. Anyway, so what I wanted you to do instead of going for the taunt there is just to let this wave slowly push into you. And then you can look to set up a freeze. Right about here. And then anytime she looks to walk up, you can just kill her. And if you don't properly understand how to freeze, because I know the level that you're playing at, you can just ask me at some point or look it up, whatever you want to do, in order to figure out how to freeze. But I'm going to assume that you know how to freeze a lane, because it's going to be really hard to go anywhere without that. At least, like, know the basics of how to freeze a lane. So here, the lane is slowly pushing into you. Yep, just clear minions, this is good. Yep, good taunt. Good W. And as soon as your taunt's up, you can kill her. Never mind, she reset. Okay, this I don't like though. This I don't like. Yeah, he actually might die for this. Yeah, you should have died there. Okay. So I did want you to freeze earlier, because... let's see, about... like here, because you were healthier, and you were able to properly punish her for CSing. Which you also could have punished her when she was dashing in. Like right here, you could just easily taunt her, and then... what she did. Oh wait, no. I was thinking of something else, I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, so you're low HP here. Once you're low HP like this, you can't afford to freeze the wave by tanking the wave, because you'll end up dying. And you need to reset anyway, really, really badly, because you're low HP. You just gotta get out of there, buy like a ruby crystal and refillable potion. So instead, I'd prefer you just last hit this wave under the turret, and let it just go back to the middle. Because you can't maintain this freeze anyway. The Irelia is going to be able to force it under the turret, or... I don't know what I just watched. What should have happened is while your E was down, she just Qs you, kills you, and then Qs back out. But she didn't. So, she ends up flashing, dying under turret, and then you survive. So it makes it look like the play was okay when in reality there was a lot of issues. Okay, so we got another issue here. We can't afford to do this because we don't know where Evelyn is. We haven't seen her on the map. And Irelia has teleport. So what's very possible to happen here... Oh, well, we do see Twist Fate. But Evelyn could have just came and killed you very, very easily. Or at least made you burn your flash. And notice what happened. It took you so long to clear the wave because you're Shen and you don't have good wave clear that you can't actually get it under the turret. And so what that allows the Irelia to do, assuming she understood the situation, is she can freeze the wave herself. She can just clear this down to where there's like 3 or 4 casters, and then you're in a really, really bad spot because in order to CS, you're going to have to walk all the way up here, and then she can either just kill you straight up, get a jungle gank, or zone you off CS. It's going to be really, really bad because Irelia can build up her stacks very, very quickly on a frozen wave. And there's not a whole lot you could do about it once you get stuck into that point because your wave clear is bad, so you can't break the freeze. But fortunately for you, the Irelia does not understand what she needs to do there, and so you don't actually get punished for it. So let me look at what items you got. Okay. So we go back. You get 2 long swords, a ruby crystal. I am assuming I'll go ahead and speed up and then come back to, let's say, 523. You got Tiamat, and then did you go Titanic Hydra? Oh, you just kind of sat on it for a while. Okay, eventually you did go Titanic Hydra. It just took you a while. So I would prefer that you just go Balmy Cinder. You don't really need to go Tiamat. Rush, I mean, it's okay, but I just think Balmy Cinder is better to rush. For most matchups, the Tiamat's only if, like, you really, really need to match wave clear. So then you could just go, like, Balmy Cinder into... I'm going blank on the item. Sunfire Cape. And you'd be able to just run over this Irelia with all of the armor that you have. Especially with how easily you're able to land these taunts on her. You get so much value. Okay, she kind of just runs into you and dies. Good. Okay, so now you've killed her. Oh, I didn't even notice, but you bought a control ward, which is good. I don't like this recall, though. I don't like this at all. So... This recall... I don't know why. Because it's like the same situation as earlier, except you're healthier this time, and you should be able to clear the wave faster because you have items. You also have Taric nearby. Actually, no, he's pretty low. If he wasn't low, then he could guard. But I don't think you're a big risk of dying to Evelyn. And you want to just shove this wave. Because otherwise, we're going to have that situation again of... Taric actually does come over here anyway. Of just the Irelia being able to freeze. Same situation. Irelia still doesn't understand wave management, and so you get away with it again. Another problem with rushing Tiamat on Shen is that you lose your ability to control the wave. Which, for your case, it may be helpful because you don't really manage the wave anyway. You kind of just push all the time. And so Tiamat helps you do that. But with Balmy Cinder, there's a lot more control, and you can actually keep the wave on your side and have more choices when it comes to fighting your opponent. Whereas Tiamat, you're just very one-dimensional and only pushing the wave over and over and over again. Which is good a lot of the time for Shen, because he likes to shove the wave and ult away, but not always. Troll ward's good. Good wave. You can be a little bit more aggressive here after you clear the wave. Because you're near your turret anyway, she can't really do a whole lot to you. You could look to see if you could land a taunt. Because worst case scenario, you just drop your W on yourself and then walk back to turret. Here, you have your jungler coming in, so this is good. Land taunts. Shows away. He ults. Okay. Good. Okay, Herald. Shove this wave and leave, I'm hoping. Yeah. So. Again, I could freeze. I thought you were going to overstay and try to go for the plate. That's why I said what I did. But in general, you shouldn't even be here. But she can freeze. Again, she shoves it. And I know I'm repeating the freeze thing a lot, but I'm just trying to explain on how many opportunities there actually are to just really stomp your opponent. Through freezing the wave and then forcing them to have a hard time clearing it. It's going to be really hard to taunt the Irelia when she's under her turret, farming the wave. So right now, your goal should be not even really to kill the Irelia. I mean, if she walks into you, sure. Okay, here we kind of messed up. You missed the taunt. So a couple things wrong here. One, your goal isn't to fight Irelia, and that's what I was about to say. Your goal instead is just to look for plays on the map. So whether that be ulting LeBlanc or ulting Taric or whatever, you don't even have to kill Irelia. You're just simply looking to get everyone else ahead, because that's what Shen's good at, is getting the map ahead or protecting teammates, whatever. Now, when you go into this fight, your goal should not be E in, because what happens if you miss like you did? You end up in a really bad spot, and even if you do hit the taunt, you're still not in that great of a spot. Whereas instead of E-ing in, you can just E out, walk into her, and then E away, and then even if you miss, you're under your turret, so it's not a big risk. And then you can just go back to farming the wave. The only time you should be looking to E in is when either you have a teammate coming in, and so you're looking to get the crowd control while also being able to follow up, or if the opponent is low HP and you're just looking to chase them down. That's primarily when you're looking to do that, not when they're full HP and can really pressure you. Especially with Irelia ultimate, because Irelia can just do so much damage with her ultimate. Okay, resetting here is good, you're low HP. It doesn't look great because you have to miss the minion wave, at least part of it. Oh, you had TP anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. But it's a good reset, make sure you don't die. There's another tower, she TPs. So at the moment, you're just trying to look to push waves over and over until an opportunity arises to help your teammates. This isn't really one. I'll be honest, this was a really bad play by the Taric. I don't know why he did it. Unless he was like low on the timer. Oh, he was low on the timer. Okay, that makes sense. He just used it too close up. He should have just dropped it here. But it, he just didn't find an opportunity earlier in the game. So I guess it's a mix of like 2 mistakes by him. Ulting in. See, like this taunt is fine. Problem is though, Evelyn ends up showing up. So the taunt was fine, but the ult itself was not. And why is the ult the problem? So you're ulting on a Draven, which in theory should be good, but he's 0-4, so he's really weak. They have the enemy Jhin and Thresh visible on the map that are strong because they have kills. And Yumi's AFK, unfortunately. So you're going into a 2v2 situation at best with your ultimate, and you already know that your teammate's behind, so this isn't going to go well. And then when Evelyn shows up, it makes it even worse. Because even without Evelyn, they would win this. So that's how you end up dying. So instead of looking to use your ultimate here, you would just stay in the lane and just hold off Irelia. You would only use your ultimate for mid lane or jungle. If Yuumi was there, it would be different. Because you would actually have a 3v2 to work with, but with Yuumi AFK, you can't really do a whole lot. Okay, running top. Pushing the wave. Push again. Yep. At this point, you need to be getting a blue trinket. Swapping off of your standard yellow. Because your main goal is just to shove the waves with your teammate. And then teleport into fights through either your ultimate or your teleport. And so you're going to be split pushing a lot. While you're split pushing, like let's say you're here. Instead of having to go walk down in order to get risky ward positions, you can instead just use the blue trinket. You don't have to waste time, and you can get in deeper areas safely, while also having the unlimited timer on it until obviously someone clears it. But if someone does clear it, then you got your value anyway because you saw them on the map. Okay, this is good. I like that you're taking the Krogs. You can farm those and then clear the wave, just safely building up farm. That's him. This is a similar situation of Draven's just super behind. So there's not a whole lot you can do. You get 1 kill, which is good, or well, the Yuumi got it. But it's just kind of an unfortunate situation with your teammate disconnecting. It happens. You have your Titanic Hydra. Building the wave. I'm hoping you're not building Ninja Tabis. If you are, then I'll see you later and then I'll talk about it then if you do. Okay, we're looking to set up a fight. Aurelia. It's not gonna work though. Nice. Well, it does work. Yeah. I thought you guys were going to lose that fight for a second, though. You did focus the correct target, though, making sure to peel for the Draven by keeping the Aurelia off of him. You won the fight. Now your goal should just be to go top lane. Wait, when is Dragon spawn? I take that back. Dragon spawning, so I didn't realize that. Yeah, so you're good to hover around Dragon. Go to Dragon. Dragon. Okay, good. And you get another kill, nice. Okay, now you can just, let's see, how much gold do you have? Yeah, you're looking to back swing because you have 2,100 gold. So you can just look to go shove this wave in, and then immediately reset. I don't like this. I mean, it works, but you're gonna end up dying for it. Please tell me you die for it. Okay, yeah, you did end up getting punished for it. Yeah, so the play is bad because you haven't spent gold and you don't have vision on the map. Well, also, you don't have any pressure elsewhere. So there's nothing stopping the Jhin and Thresh from leaving mid lane because your teammates are way back here. So they can't actually do anything to prevent them from leaving. So sure, you get the Twisted Fate, but the Twisted Fate was 2 and 8. He's worth almost no gold. It's way better just to go push the wave like I was talking about earlier, and then immediately leave before they can come kill you. Yeah, you did go to the Ninja Tabis. Okay, so I don't like that you went the armor boots because you need to be going Mercury Treads. And the reason that you go Mercury Treads is auto attack's not really your problem in this game because of your W. You're just looking to taunt them and then W anyway. Typically your target's going to be Jhin or whoever gets close to your ADC, but really most of the time you don't want to go armor boots on Shen because you're blocking auto attacks anyway. Now obviously if you're behind and the enemy team has a lot of auto attack based champions, like they have a lot, then sure, you could do it. But majority of the time you're going to want the crowd control instead on Shen. Okay. Here, I don't like that you're mid lane. You don't need to be mid lane. You don't get anything done from being mid lane. All you're doing is just splitting XP. Instead, you need to be going bot lane. The reason you go bot lane is because you have teleport up, and as I said earlier, you don't want to split XP. So what you can do with teleport, you can come down here. You can push out your push the bot lane out, as well as ward. Obviously, which you don't have any wards up at the moment, so you'd have to just play it safe. But you would go bot lane, push out the wave, and then look if someone comes Aberrant, or sorry, if someone comes to bottom, then you can look to potentially make a Baron play, or you could also TP into team fight, whatever your teammates are doing. You just have to adjust. But instead, you're just taking half of Draven's gold and XP, and then just leaving all of this to die, while putting no pressure on this turret whatsoever. Which is the main benefit of playing Shen, is that you can force people to have to choose between two different things. The reason I want you bottom lane instead of top lane is because, one, you already had Taric earlier, now Blanc top lane, catching the wave, but also you don't want to be close to the objective because you want to pull people as far away as possible since you have teleport. Now, because LeBlanc does not have teleport, she doesn't want to be bottom lane because then it's going to take her too long to get there. So that's why you want to be on the opposite side. Let's say the dragon was up, then you would need to be top lane. The dragon's not up yet, so and it wasn't for a good while at the time that I was talking about. Just whatever objective you're focusing at the time, you want to be on the opposite side of the map. This is bad. Why is that bad? You didn't look at where your teammates are. So, let me move this. This here, like, sure, great. You can land the taunt, and I'm glad that you know how to E-flash. I mean, because that's an important part of Shen. But your teammates are back here. They're not going to be able to make it in time. There's no way. So instead, you just hold the flash and push this wave. And then you can just take this tower. If Jen decides to stay under the tower, then sure, you can kill him under tower. But otherwise, he's just going to kite you like this and then play back. What Jin should be doing is just letting you have the tower for free and then keeping his life. Power golds. So, you don't quite end the game here. Oh boy, is it because you're trolling a little bit? Yeah, okay. So, here, this isn't necessary at all. You should just be hitting the turret. Two of them are dead. Well, three for a little bit, but I realized it's going to be spawning in about 7 seconds. But you could just hit the turret. And then if they walk up, then taunt them, sure. But right now, you don't actually have to taunt them. You end up just dying to the base turret. And then you bait your teammates into walking in the base turret as well. Now, I'm sure, like, this is just you guys having fun because it's a normal game. But if you, like, really wanted to make sure you win the game, the correct play is to go for the turret. And then you guys end in, like, a couple minutes. I'll just speed through it. Just make sure. Yeah, you just get Aberrant. And then all you have to do is just go down the lane, or down middle is 5, or I guess it's 4 because LeBlanc is dead. And you can end pretty easily with Taric ultimate. Okay, so let me make sure I got all my notes out. Okay, so let me. Oops. Let me put this in like 2 lines. There we go. And then if I think of some more as I'm talking, I'll write them down. So I talked initially about leveling up your ability. I don't think that I have to really talk about that. I've already covered that, I feel, pretty well early on. Practicing freezing the wave and avoiding letting the enemy freeze. So this is really important for any champion, pretty much in any lane, but especially top lane. Wave management is very, very important in top lane. It's probably the most important thing that you can do or understand as a top laner. So Shen is a little bit of a weird case because he does like to shove the wave and he likes to ult away. There are similar champions to this, like Kled, or in some cases Sion. What are some other ones? Quinn, anything like that. That likes to just roam all the time as soon as they hit a certain point. But you still need to understand how to control the wave before you're level 6, and then also whenever your ultimate is down or you don't have a good ultimate opportunity. Or you want to play around your jungler, etc. Because obviously if the enemy jungler is pathing towards you, and you know that, let's say, they're going to be showing up on like the 3rd wave, because that's usually when junglers will show up, is about the 3rd wave at like the 2.5 to 245 mark. You'll need to know that you need to wave, if not on your side, at least in the middle, so that you don't get ganked, assuming that they're pathing towards your side. It's really important just to keep a track of that. And then obviously avoiding the enemy freeze, because then if they can set up the freeze, then you can just get ganked over and over again as you try to farm. It's just going to be terrible. It's a horrible experience. Don't just build Tiamat, because this will it'll allow you to build bad habits, like I'm seeing in this game, where you're just pushing the wave, and so you're not actually able to freeze the wave. So don't just build it all the time. Try playing with Bombi Cinder. Obviously in some matchups you can go Tiamat if they like push the wave really quickly. So things like Garen, Mordekaiser. Well, actually, I don't know if Mordekaiser is the great example, but anything that's just looking to push the wave a lot, you can go Tiamat, and that's fine, in order to match them so they don't just constantly crash waves on your turret every time you try to teleport away. But as I said, try to focus more on Bombi Cinder and just playing consistently, controlling the wave. Really think about why you're doing things. Talked about using the E. So you want to use it towards your turret majority of the time, so that your opponent doesn't have an opportunity to trade back, as well as it makes it really, really easy to land your Q, depending on where the sword is. Or when I say your Q, I mean like the enhanced part, so that you can get that and then trade with your enhanced Qs if they try to chase you, and then walk back to your turret and have really good trades. But then obviously if you're trying to kill them, or if you have a teammate coming in, whether that's a roam from mid lane, a jungler, etc., you can just use the E into them, get the taunt, and then kill them, no problem. Blue Trinket, this will take a little bit of practice, but you need to work on that. As well as I'll talk about that in a second. Blue Trinket, there are a lot of different places that you can do it. Let me go back. So you don't really want the Blue Trinket super early, and you can't get it until level 9 anyway. So most of the time it's once a turret breaks is around the time you're going to be getting the Blue Trinket, if you're going to get one. Let's say it's like, is here a decent spot? Let's see where you at. There you are. Go a little bit further. So like here. Yeah, so here you shove this wave, and then actually no, because you need to TP back for Dragon. Well, I guess this is fine, because you can go to Dragon. Oh no, they have a Dragon fight. I'm forgetting which part I'm in the replay. But like, yeah, here. So you shove the wave, and then you can go and you can ward either you can ward here to catch anyone trying to go for Herald, as well as Aurelia trying to roam mid lane. You can ward here with the Blue Trinket, here with the Blue Trinket. just anywhere to try to throw off the enemy jungler. And it's really good to do that against Evelyn, because the only time you're going to see her is either through a control ward, or if she is hitting a camp, something like that, taking damage, whatever. So you can have the ward here, and then as she's hitting the camp or starts to hit the camp, even if she kills the ward, you know that she's there, and you can play around that. So it'll take a little bit of practice, but I think you'll find a lot of value in the blue trinket if you really stick to it and understand the value of it. Okay, work on deep warding after shoving waves if you aren't roaming. So this is a similar thing to what I was just talking about, where if you ever shove a wave and you're not doing anything, like clearing a camp like you are now, then you can just go and deep ward. Now, in order to do this, you need to know where people are, to clarify. So you need to see like Evelyn bot lane or something like that, unless you're really strong. You need to see Evelyn bot lane, you need to know that they're not going to come and kill you, and then you can go and throw a ward, whether it's control ward, blue trinket, yellow trinket, whatever you have, in the various bushes in order to see the jungler and get more vision so that you can actually play around it, set up objectives, roams, whatever. But this is only obviously if you're not looking to ult somewhere or roam mid lane, or you have some kind of play available to you, then obviously that's going to be better most of the time, because you're going to be able to have more immediate impact. Always look where your teammates are. This is a big thing. Really paying attention to the amount of mobility that your teammates have, making sure that when you're going in, they're actually going to be able to help you, and you're not just too far away, and so you end up just dying on your own, or the enemy team runs away anyway, and you get nothing done and just waste resources, as well as looking where the enemies are. So let's say you have 2 people mid lane, you and like, I don't know, Tarek or something, and they have 2 people. Well, that's not a guarantee that they have 2 people, but you know where your teammates are. So like your teammates could be off bottom lane, top lane, whatever. But if you only see 2 people here and the enemies are actually like in river or they're really close by, then you could end up losing that fight. So you need to always be looking before you go in to make sure that you know where people are. Obviously, if it's a 5v5, then you know where everyone is, and so it's great for that. But you need to be looking all the time. If you don't know where they are, then assume they are nearby. That's the general rule to follow. Refuge heads, talked about that. It's just crowd control reduction is just better on Shen, unless it's really, really heavy auto attack enemy team, or they have someone that's just really, really a problem for you. But I don't think that was the case this game. And then playing on the opposite side of the major objective. What I mean by major objective is Dragon, Herald, or Baron, anything like that. You want to be on the opposite side in order to be able to pull people away, so you can make plays for that, as well as to just TP into different fights and stuff. So yeah, those are all the notes I have. If I think of anything else, I'll find some way to give it to you. But yeah, I hope these tips, or not really tips, but this information, as well as the entire video, will be helpful to you. Obviously, if you don't understand anything, immediately you can go back through the video, or you can ask a question, whatever. But yeah, that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching.